this past Friday I was at a Wizards game, and guess how much I paid for a bottle of water? $5. Five. Y'all ain't been to a game in a while. That must be post pandemic prices. I paid $6.15.
No way.
$6.15. $6.15.
That's a damn shame.
And I protested, but I was thirsty. All right. So no further ado. I now turn it over to our official hostess, and I will try to respond to her questions accordingly. Dr. Khadija Ali-Coleman.
Thank you so much.
Give it up for kymone, freeman. So I'm very proud of you for letting me hold the mic and ask you questions, because as everyone saw before the camera started rolling, is that you, as Mazi Matafa said, and just so everyone knows, he is the executive director, the founding executive director of Words, Beats, and Life, a nonprofit in Washington, D.C. that has been doing phenomenal work for over 20 years now. And so we give it up for Mazi as well. And the fact that Mazi and kymone are friends, I think, is very symbolic of, as Mazi said, who you are. As you're a son of DC, and you have such intense love for Washington, DC, that everything I feel that you do and what comes from your pores is this intensity in your love for Washington, DC, and wanting to represent Washington, DC in a way where the disenfranchised really have a voice. I didn't expect for you to have a special introduction, but I did want to set the intention with reading a quote from Martin Luther King. And this is really in your honor, because one of the things that I find for the over 10 years that I've been an acquaintance with you, kymone, I'd say is over 20 years now, right? You always, when in discussions, not just with me, but with other people, you're always able to cite from something that you've read and to put into practice something that you've read, but there's always something that you're able to refer to that has given some type of had some type of influence on either your action or your words. And I wanted to pull this quote from Martin Luther King before I ask my first question, because although you are an artist, although you do identify as an activist, I also think of you as an educator, all right? And what Martin Luther King said: education must also train one for quick, resolute, and effective thinking. To think incisively and to think for oneself is very difficult. We are prone to let our mental life become invaded by legions of half-truths, prejudices, and propaganda. At this point, I often wonder whether or not education is fulfilling its purpose. A great majority of the so-called educated people do not think logically and scientifically. Even the press, the classroom, the platform, and the pulpit, in many instances, do not give us objective and unbiased truths. To save man from the morass of propaganda, in my opinion, is one of the chief aims of education. Education must enable one to sift and weigh evidence, to discern the truth from the false, the real from the unreal, and the facts from the fiction. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., okay?